Everything's on fire. Everything's on fire. Everything's on fire.
Welcome back to the Tailgate. It's a crazy week. Wind is a big factor in our games this week, and we're going to talk about all that. I'm going to change this text here, make sure I don't have anybody out that's not out, so we'll keep an eye on that. But first off, Bryce, how was your week 7? And you got any pressing needs here or hopes and wishes for week 8?
Yeah, there's in our Grand Prix league, I am real desperate for a win because at this point in the season, if I don't win, I might just start looking for next year. If I do, I think I can squeak into the playoffs. So I'm a little bit desperate this week. Last week was a little bit rough in all the leagues that I really care about. All the more expensive ones, I didn't do too well. And all the leagues I put 10 or 20 bucks in with my friends, I seem to crush it. So opposite of what I'd prefer. How about you?
Oh, I don't even know, man. This is a stressful week. We may have to cut the show just a little bit short this week to ensure I get all my stuff done before the games. It's wind is wreaking havoc, and this is the week that I decided to take my shots in DFS, and I'm a little bit stressed out. Trying to get all my lineups done. I max entered the $5 150 lineup contest and trying to take down that 20K, and this wind, man. This wind. The guys that I wanted to be on, the wind is just crazy in those games. And I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm stressed. But we're here, and we are going to take care of your fantasy questions. So if you got them, drop them in the chat. As always, we go in order from top to bottom. When you ask those questions, be patient. We will get to them. And then if we have donations, those do move to the top of the list, and we get those in right away. So we appreciate everybody being here on Sunday morning. I know some time changes and all that fun stuff, but week 8 already. It's crazy. We're 5-6 weeks away from fantasy playoffs starting, and stuff just gets crazier and crazier. More COVID cases, and luckily we haven't had any of those games switching around, really messing with everything, and they're getting played. And that's the important part, right? We don't have any of those unknown buys coming in to really mess with our lineups and make everything much more difficult. So let's knock on wood and hope that continues, and we don't have to worry about that, especially in these, like you said, it's getting to that point of the season where you gotta win. So I'm getting people saying that it sounds fine, but my voice isn't going with the video, and I know that was a problem Tuesday. I'm having all kinds of issues. I don't know why. So hopefully it doesn't have us talking over each other and it's easy to hear. Okay, so
yeah, on Tuesday it wasn't talking over, but it was your voice or the screen was off or something.
Okay, so maybe the live video will work, and then on the playback it was all like jumbled up, and it was, I mean, you couldn't listen to it.
Okay.
It was terrible. So maybe it's just on the playback, hopefully. As long as you guys can hear us, you can watch the Chinese dubbed version of me, and I will try to get this figured out by the time we get to Tuesday's show. But so Thomas says Minnesota Green Bay, right now they're predicting sustained winds of 20 to 26 miles an hour with gusts of 40 plus. In Vegas Cleveland game, we got winds of 21 to 26 miles per hour with gusts of 40 plus. And then in New England Buffalo, we have winds of 21 to 25 with gusts of 40 plus rain. Okay, so first off, I want to say in redraft and dynasty, you're starting your studs, right? You're not sitting Devontae Adams because of wind. Okay, let's just get that out of the way right away. You're playing those guys no matter what. Now, when it comes to DFS, that affects what you're going to do in that. So for these games, it does change, right? It makes these deeper ball receivers and these quarterbacks much more volatile than they would be on a regular weather game, right? Like, I love this spot for Aaron Rodgers in the passing game for Green Bay before there were winds of 40 plus, gusts of 40 plus coming in. So I'm still starting all those guys in my regular lineups, but when it comes to DFS in cash games, I would be very timid to throw guys in those game environments, but in tournaments you're going to take shots on them, because if it happens, like if the wind happens to line up in the right spot and they get a deep ball, it could break everything. So still taking shots in DFS tournaments, but trying to find better plays in good game environments for my cash lineups where I don't want that volatility, right? I don't want there to be a chance that the weather wrecks my lineup. Okay, so Stephen Drake popping in with the donation. We appreciate it. Stephen Drake's, let me get that right. Full PPR, he is asking Mike Gesicki or Trey Burton, and then he's got a second question on top of that. So we'll get the tight end question first. Mike Gesicki or Trey Burton for you?
Even though Mike Gesicki hasn't been good fantasy-wise the past few weeks, they got a new QB coming in, so you don't know exactly how he's going to do or how Tua is going to do with him. So, but I'm going to go with the better talent, Mike Gesicki, for this one.
Yeah, this one is tough for me because we see Rivers not being the downfield quarterback that he used to be, and he does rely on that tight end, but they also have 3 tight ends, and from a week-to-week perspective, I don't know how comfortable I am with that. And then you've got the rookie quarterback coming in, and they tend to lean on their tight ends, and Mike Gesicki's really a wide receiver in that offense, and has been a little inconsistent here lately, but Ryan Fitzpatrick pushes it down the field more, and they're playing the Rams, and the Rams are monsters against the pass when it comes to the wide receivers, right? We've seen it in Chicago. Their last game, the tight ends actually did some work, and the wide receivers struggled big time. So I'm going Gesicki also in that. And then his second question is Corey Davis or Rashard Higgins? And then he says, thanks, guys. This one for me is Corey Davis. I don't even know, and I was just mentioning this in our chat. Kadarrell Hodge was running ahead of Higgins before his injury, and I believe Hodge is back this week. So I don't even know if Higgins is the next guy up with Odell out. So I'm going with Corey Davis here. Better offense, better quarterback. What are your thoughts there, Bryce?
Yeah, same thing. I'm unsure of what Cleveland's going to do with Odell Beckham Jr. out, what guy's going to kind of step up. Donovan Peoples-Jones looked great last week. He earned himself some more action. So, and Corey Davis has been consistent when he's healthy, so I'm definitely going Corey Davis there pretty easily.
Chao Zhang, I hope I say that name right, says, good morning, guys. First question, Hunter Henry, Noah Fant, or Dallas Goedert in Week 8? For one, you have too many good tight ends. If you can get some value out of at least one of them, I would. I'm going Dallas Goedert because of just the lack of options in the Eagles offense. Obviously, they do get Rager back, but he's a rookie, and we don't know how much work he's going to get right off the bat. I guess we could say that we really don't know about Goddard either, but I just think Goddard is the guy in his offense if he's healthy. He was already leading in receiving yards with Ertz and Jackson healthy at the beginning of the year. So if they're gone, I think he has a shot to be the leading receiver on this team.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like George Kittle and San Fran, where the wide receiver area is just kind of depleted, or nobody's really stepped up quite yet. And he's going to be the go-to guy. They wouldn't bring him back unless he's healthy, so I believe that he's going to be full go and fully healthy. So they're not going to give him a limit how many throws or snaps he gets. So I'm definitely going Dallas Goedert here until I see some more consistency out of Noah Fant. I think he might be the next top tier talent, but I also think that about Dallas Goedert, and I'm gonna go him in that offense.
Yeah, I would rank those Goddard, Henry, Fant for now.
And they're all close too.
Yeah, they are close, and there's a very good chance that any one of the three could end up being the leading tight end out of that group. Somebody on Facebook, it just tells me Facebook user says, I need a wide receiver and a flex. Rager, Higgins, Montgomery, Goddard. I'm going Rager and Montgomery here, and the reason is you need the wide receiver. I'm taking Rager over Higgins. We already talked about Cleveland not knowing exactly what they're going to do. And if Kadarius Hodge is ahead of Higgins, then that hurts. And they love running the ball. They're going to run the ball as much as possible anyway. And Rager, obviously, he's the most talented receiver that the Eagles have right now. And I'm going to play him until he proves that he's not good enough to be the guy. And then Montgomery just is going to get the touches, right? He's going to get 20 touches most weeks and has the floor. So that's why I'm going with him at the flex spot. Any objections there?
No. All the rookie wide receivers, when they play this year, seem to do well. So why wouldn't Rager do well as well? I'm going to put him in for sure. And then Montgomery, of course. That was easy.
Rob Kane says, drop one tight end, full PPR. Ingram, Bryant, Goddard. Who you dropping? And I'm assuming that's Harrison
Ingram.
Bryant. You're dropping Ingram?
No.
Oh.
I think I'm going to drop Bryant.
I'm dropping Bryant. I understand he had the big week last week, but in this week he could be fine. But Goddard is the guy that I'm playing every week anyway. Unless Goddard gets re-injured, I'm never not starting Goddard. I'm just not. And then we've got Brendan says Fant or Goddard full PPR. We've already answered this. I had a third guy in there, so we both say Goddard on that. Josh Hulsman says Jefferson or Fulgham. I
love Fulgham, but I think I got to go Jefferson.
See, people are probably gonna think I'm crazy. I'm probably going Fulgham in this matchup. And Jefferson's is a little bit more difficult with Green Bay, right? Green Bay's decent against the pass. Where you really smash Green Bay is on the ground. Now, if Green Bay gets out to a big lead and whatnot, but we're also looking at the wind in that game. So I'm going Fulgham, I think, here in this spot.
Hey, I hope Fulgham does better.
What do you think of Denzel Mims as a sleeper play? Yeah, I think if we're talking DFS, he came and got 7 targets last week. The problem is Jets they have a terrible team total. They're not very good. But the volume, we've seen it with Jamison Crowder, right? They haven't been very good, but Jamison Crowder puts up a bunch of points on volume alone. So I'm definitely okay with Denzel Mims as a sleeper play.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We were just talking about him before the stream. So he's a good first game in. He gets 7 targets. You would hope it only goes up from there, or it stays about the same.
Chris Carson or Tevin Coleman, full PPR. This is easily Chris Carson for me if he plays.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Joseph Pierre says, PPR, Montgomery, Landry, or Bell. Choose 2, and I need upside. See, they're learning. I love it. They're learning that they should preface what they need, whether it's floor or upside. Joseph, great question. He needs upside, and Montgomery's got to be in here just because of volume, just because of touches.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to Landry or Bell, and it's tough. Bell Bell basically split carries with CEH in his first game in Kansas City, but neither of them ran the ball a lot. They didn't run the ball a lot in that game. Now, obviously, this is the Jets game. You could have the revenge narrative and all that fun stuff, but the wind in Cleveland also. We got wind in that game, so I might just go with the two running backs here, and I don't know that there's a lot of upside either way with Landry or Bell, but I just have a feeling that Bell's going to touch the ball more than Landry, and that gives me a better plan there.
I'm gonna go the other way. I like Landry for this game. I know the revenge narrative looks nice and sweet, but I don't know if Andy Reid buys into that and changes his game plan to let Le'Veon Bell get revenge on a team that Bell just left or got dropped from. So I'm still gonna go Landry just because I think he gets more efficient touches this game and has that touchdown upside with Odell Beckham gone. So.
Yeah, now you say that. I don't normally buy into the revenge narrative, but when your team comes in a 17-point favorite, the game plan can be completely different by the time the second quarter starts. You might have a 21-point lead already. Joseph Pierre says Herbert or Tannehill?
Tannehill for me this week.
Tannehill for me as well. And then the next question is Brendan DeMay, who says Herbert or Wentz. Now, I want to get this straight. Herbert has played great so far. But Tannehill has been playing lights out for a year and a half. So it doesn't equate to me. Herbert maybe a little bit more upside. But I love the spot Tannehill's in. And then Herbert or Wentz, I'm probably going Wentz against Dallas because I just want to play everybody against Dallas.
Our friend Big Matt would definitely agree. You start anybody that plays the Dallas defense, so you got to start Wentz this week.
Yep, absolutely. AJ Green or Deontay Johnson? This is a good question from Spartan22.
Yeah. You go first on this one.
Yeah, you want me to go first? I'm actually going AJ Green here because AJ Green, their pass volume's just nuts. He has a much better matchup than Deontay has, and while both teams have three receivers that are going to go for the compete for the targets, AJ Green is also due for some positive touchdown regression. I think he's leading the NFL in red zone or end zone looks so far, and has been real unlucky when it comes to the TDs. And he's going to have a game here soon that pops with 2 touchdowns. It's just going to happen with as much as they're throwing the ball. And then Deontay is just they've got Baltimore. They've got a good defense they're facing that doesn't entirely scare me off of Deontay, but if I can get AJ Green's volume and that floor in a matchup where Tennessee gets beat on the outside, Boyd's actually got probably the worst matchup out of the wide receivers. I'm going to take that because he's not going to get you 0, right? He's
right.
He's just not going to get you 0. Now, you could watch the game environment here. We were talking about weather and whatnot, and if that ends up being real scary, then you could go Deontay. It's real close. It's splitting hairs, but I go with AJ Green here.
Yeah, I think one game, even with the weather conditions, has a potential of being pretty high scoring, and the other one doesn't. The Baltimore-Pittsburgh game, I don't know if it gets up there in points. 2 really good defenses and 2 solid offenses as well. But I'm going to go AJ Green as well. The volume is there, and he, like you said, he's due for that one big game, and it very well could be this one.
Bryce, you look like you had a long night, buddy.
I don't know why I can't get to sleep. I did have a Halloween party yesterday, but I feel good this morning. I look tired. Yeah. puffy eyes right now.
Yeah.
Who said that, Joe?
I have no idea. It says Facebook user. My chat.
I bet it's Joe.
Probably is Joe.
I'm about to
So you look like he normally looks. So it's
right.
not too shabby for you. Because now that you're saying start Goddard, I'm nervous about the double up with Wentz and Goddard on a bad team, regardless of them playing the Cowboys. I wouldn't be worried about that. I wouldn't be worried about that at all.
They score the ball. I mean, didn't they put up a lot of points against?
They're
Pittsburgh
fine
as well.
Yeah, they're fine, and Dallas is literally the worst defense in history so far. So, start with confidence.
It was my buddy that said that.
Oh yeah.
Brett Riley, yeah.
Yes, I said Chow's name right. So that's a win for the day, right? That's a win for today if nothing else goes right. I got his name right. I hate mispronouncing people's names. Sean112 says Claypool or Juju Smith-Schuster. This one's easily Juju. I love Chase Claypool, but Juju's going to get the targets. And Chase Claypool's going to have those splash games, but he's not going to be your week-to-week target hog. And we don't know how Baltimore's going to treat him, but last game out, Chase Claypool drew number one coverage, and he struggled with it.
Yeah,
I'm going Juju.
Oh, yeah, me as well. Juju's only had, I think, 2 games this year under 10 points or something like that, so he's still getting the volume. I'm going to go him. He's a wide receiver 1, if not really, really high wide receiver 2. I'm always probably going to go with Juju.
Midnight says, drop Hollywood Brown and pick up Rager? ?
No,
I'm not. I'm not doing that yet. Lamar has been, he's kind of been the two extremes the past 2 years, and I'm hoping the second half of the season he meets it in the middle, gets some of that efficiency back, and then there's a lot of upside with Hollywood. He's healthy. He's getting targets. It's just they're not turning into those big plays, and I think with a little bit of an improvement, we're going to see that. I love Rager, but he is a rookie. If you've got some other guys, maybe you can drop to pick him up, but I wouldn't drop Hollywood Brown yet. As a Green Bay fan, I would assume they put Alexander on Thielen. Definitely, probably the case. Do you start Carson if he is active, or Fulgham and avoid the re-injury risk?
I'm going to start if Carson's active. The way that they were running the ball with him gone, they could easily afford to rest him another week. If he's active, I'm going to start him. That's because I think they think he's fully healthy.
David, I think here with the Carson Fulgham question, you have to ask yourself about upside, because there is a floor of very little with Carson. And I think against Dallas, Fulgham's a fine play. I think he's going to get targets. If you need upside, I think you go Fulgham. I'd probably go Fulgham. And maybe I'm just buying too much into this play everybody versus Dallas.
I have Fulgham playing you this week, so I hope you're right.
But I mean, I don't think people realize Dallas is literally the worst defense of all time so far. I'm starting everybody I can versus Dallas. I think that's as far as you go, right? Rager, Fulgham, and Goddard, and maybe Greg Ward, right?
Yeah.
Greg Ward's just like a PPR guy. He's not going to have the upside of Fulgham, Rager, and Goddard. But I think those 3 guys, in most cases, you can start them unless you have a super stud. But
even Scott, Boston Scott too.
Yeah. I just meant in the passing game, you know.
Oh yeah.
But yes, Boston Scott as well at running back. Brendan, we did answer this. You said Herbert or Wentz. We went with Wentz against Dallas. Start Cousins over Big Ben even with high wins? ? Cousins or Big Ben?
I'm gonna go with Big Ben this week.
I'm going Big Ben as well.
Yeah.
I'm just more comfortable.
I think
with
even
Big
if the
Ben.
wins weren't high, I would still go Big Ben.
It is a worse matchup, but Big Ben, you know, there's been plenty of matchups where we're like, this isn't a good matchup, and then he goes and balls out. That's just the type of guy he is. So, yes, Brendan, I will have Wentz and Goddard, and I would put them in plenty of lineups.
Absolutely.
If Crowder doesn't play, Mims or Corey Davis. This is from Patrick McDonald over on YouTube.
I still like Corey Davis has been very good this year when he's healthy, so I'm gonna go him until I see a little bit more out of him.
Corey Davis has been getting volume, and they have better touchdown upside, so I'm going with Corey Davis. I do like Mims, but I mean, we could see the Jets get shut out again this week. Kansas City's defense is pretty good, but he's going to get volume. He's probably going to have 10 targets in this game if I had to guess. And I don't think Crowder's playing, but I'm going Corey Davis for sure because he could have 2 touchdowns in his game where Mims is going to struggle to get 1. Hasty or DJ Dallas if Carson is out?
Is Coleman playing?
Coleman's going to be in, but I don't know if it matters, personally. I think they like Hasty. Hasty has looked good. And Coleman has
feel like
not
anybody
looked
looks
good
good
since he has been in San Francisco. I'm going to Hasty just because I know what they're going to do. And there's Travis Homer also in
Right.
And then Hyde if he's healthy. Now I don't know. None of these guys have been practicing, right? Like nobody's been healthy, but they're still letting Russ unleash the beast and throw the ball a lot. So I'm going Hasty just because I don't know. I trust that one more, and he's looked great so far. And my mouse disappeared.
Yeah, but
I can't. There we go.
Yeah, I got Hasty in a few lineups where I'm thin at running back this week, and I feel pretty good about it. That offensive line is definitely known for their run blocking. I feel like if you're a decent running back, they can make you look better than you are. So I'm gonna go with Hasty too, with him given this, hoping he seizes the opportunity.
Joseph Pierre with the donation saying, thanks for answering my previous question. We appreciate you, so thanks for being here. For anybody that's new, make sure you hit that like button on the video and that subscribe button on the video. And then hit that notification bell so you know anytime we go live or anytime we drop new content. We got a lot of stuff in the works. A lot of stuff. The team is working hard behind the scenes. But you can see us live every Tuesday and Wednesday night at 9:30. Tuesday is the Dynasty Heat Seekers for all you Dynasty freaks out there. Wednesday night is the redraft stream, which you can see Bryce on. And then Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. You can see Bryce and I both over here on the pregame tailgate. Okay. Back up. Deontay Johnson, Robert Woods, or Leonard Fournette. Start 2 of these half PPR.
I'm going Robert Woods and Deontay Johnson for now, but Leonard Fournette is going to be the answer here in a few weeks.
Yes, same exact thing. No arguments there. That was from Prodigy JML over on YouTube. Thank you. Joss Whedon in the house. How you doing?
Hey, Joss.
He says, man, it's early here. He's that 7:30 a.m. guy over there on the West Coast. Yeah. Taki T says, morning. Should I flex Juju versus the Ravens or Jonnu Smith versus the Bengals? PPR. Go ahead.
Juju. Yeah, Juju. Hey, we don't like to flex tight ends over guys like that. I don't have a problem flexing tight ends, but when you're putting number 1 receivers that get good targets when it doesn't matter who the opponent is, you got to go with that receiver.
Exactly what I was going to say. There we go. Who do you like the rest of the season? Indies D or Chargers D? This is for Mr. Munchies over on YouTube. I will preface this with saying that I don't have any leagues with team defenses in them. So what I know is from DFS. Indy's D is good, and they put pressure. Chargers put some pressure when everybody's healthy as well, but I'm going Indy's D there.
I'm looking here. I would have to. I don't want to spend a bunch of time on it, but I would look at with these defenses. I would honestly look at the rest of the schedule, to be honest. And I'm looking at the Chargers schedule, and they play some pretty good offenses. So just by first glance, I would agree with you. But if I looked at the Indianapolis schedule, I could.
Let's clear this up, and then we've got another donation. We got to get to that question. When it comes to team defenses, I'm not as worried about the offenses they're playing as I am that the offenses they're playing are going to drop back. With team defenses, what we need are opportunities to put pressure on the quarterback and have turnovers. If they're playing high-scoring offenses that throw the ball a lot, those opportunities are still there if they can get pressure. If you're playing a bunch of teams that run the ball, right, that limits your opportunity. If they play slow and there's less plays, that limits your opportunity because then you got to force a fumble, which is harder to do than picking off an interception and running it back. So you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes into factor there. Like if somebody would happen to have, like, let's just say it's somebody in Cincinnati's division and they get to play Cincinnati twice, and I know there's going to be 100 dropbacks by Burrow in those two games with their bad offensive line. Like, even if Cincinnati puts up 30 points in each of the games, there's a lot of upside there in turnovers and potential QB sack, fumble recoveries for a touchdown or interceptions for a touchdown. So I do want to preface that, right? Look for them turnover-prone teams, stuff like that. And I don't know their schedules, but just Indy, I think, does everything well on defense. They do everything well.
Right. Yeah.
David Servin, he donated and also said thanks for the advice. We appreciate it big time. It's awesome. You guys are the best. That's why we do this. Trust me, Sunday morning, I used to like to sleep in till about game time, and because I'd be up late getting all my DFS stuff in and everything. Sean Dean says, pick one: Justin Jefferson, Robert Woods, Brandon Ayuk.
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods for me as well. I will say Miami's secondary's been pretty decent this year, but I just got to go with the guy that's, I've got some more history on. And then I think I would rank Woods, Jefferson, Ayuk.
Easily, yes.
Mark Andrews into Pittsburgh defense or Dallas into Dallas? I'm going Goddard. I know people are gonna think I'm crazy starting him over Mark Andrews, but I'm going Dallas Goddard. Unless we hear before this game that he's not 100%, that would be the only thing that changed it for me.
Yeah, Mark Andrews this year has been literally like a kind of a I guess you wouldn't really think of it in the tight end position, but he has been kind of like boom or bust. He either puts up like 6 points or he puts up 20 plus. So I guess you could think of floor versus ceiling here, where I think Goddard has a much higher floor just based on the way their offenses ran. Because the way Baltimore plays, they could run the ball 40 times and pass 10, where the Eagles are not going to be able to do that, and they have the much better matchup. So if you want ceiling, I wouldn't blame you for going Andrews and then for Goddard. But I'm going Goddard based on because I think he also could put up that 20 plus.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of Goddard's games this year, he had like 40, right? So,
yeah.
He's got a ceiling as well, and that's why I like it, because there is that floor, especially with Ertz out. He's not competing with – Richard Rodgers is not competing with Goddard for tight end. I mean, Richard Rodgers might get some, but if Richard Rodgers gets 6 targets, that probably means Goddard got 12, right?
Right.
So I'm going Goddard for sure. I think he's got both for you this week. PPR Superflex. This is from Facebook user. I wish it showed me names. Who do you like more at Superflex spot? Tua, Taylor, or CEH? I'm going Taylor.
At Superflex over Tua.
I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, for one, he's playing the Rams. The Rams have given up 10 or less points 3 games in a row. People don't realize how good this Rams defense is playing. I think this was like the worst move that Miami could have made was starting Tua his first game versus the Rams defense playing as well as they are right now. I just don't know how that's going to go. And I know that Taylor's going to get 16 to 20 touches. And for that, I like that. No, the thing I know, right? Tua's going to be that play long term. I just don't know that this is the right week for them to have done this, and I hope Aaron Donald don't hurt the kid.
Right. I think you go. Okay, with that, I'll go with Taylor as well. Unless you get points per completion, then you go Tua. But if it stands like normal super flex leagues where you don't get that, I think you go Taylor as well.
Lamar or Burrow? This is from Lunatic over on YouTube.
I'm still going to go with Lamar with all the rushing upside.
I'm still going Lamar as well. Craig says, and this is our boy Craig Ruth says, sit one, Malik Reed, Kenneth Murray, Harold Landry, and Bradley Chubb.
Sit one.
Yeah, I'm hoping I pick the best one. I'm hoping he listens to us and I pick the best one. He's pulling a Paul here is what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm sitting Kenneth Murray. Okay.
Yeah,
just tell him to sit.
I really don't know.
Tell him to sit Kenneth Murray, and then hopefully Kenneth Murray's the best one out of the 4. Because he's just trying to be a smartass. Isaiah Newman with the donation. He says, PPR Superflex, who do you like more? Oh, we already answered this, so good. We got to the donation question. This was the Tua, CH, or Taylor question. Yes, I went with Taylor.
Yeah. I went with Taylor as well, unless you get points for completion in that league. I'm in 2 super flexes that do that, so makes obviously your QB much more valuable when you get that. But if not, I think Taylor's a more safe play.
Back to Lamar or Burrow, for one, we've got the wind in that game too, in that Cincy game. That's another thing. He will drop back a lot, but Lamar's upside is just bonkers. I'm not ready to sit Lamar, especially for the price people paid for him. Throw him in there.
Right.
Mims or Shepard? Sterling Shepard, I assume.
I'm going Mims.
I'm going Shepard. I'm going Shepard. I think they both get volume, but I think the Giants have a slightly better chance of scoring. There's a chance both New York teams get shut out and the entire state scores 0 points. So,
right. I got Buffalo. They're not getting shut out.
Yeah, Isaiah says, I was leaning Tua, but a little nervous just because it's his first start ever. Yeah, it's his first start, and it's against a really good defense that's hard to throw on. They are very, very hard to throw the ball on. Everybody talks about Ramsey, but people don't realize Hill and Williams, I think, is the other cornerback. All 3 of them have been really, really good. They are really hard to throw the ball on, and right now they're really, really hard to score on. They've given up less than 10 or less in 3 straight games. That's crazy. Sean says, I was thinking of starting Gronk over Andrews. What do you think, PPR? I'm not doing that yet.
No,
I'm starting Andrews. Isaiah, I appreciate you switching over to YouTube for the donation. We appreciate it big time, and we want to do our best to give the best advice. And I see in the chat somebody saying that it's QB versus running back in Superflex. You go with the QB. I'm not really going to argue that, except for the fact that this is not a good spot for a first-time starting quarterback, and especially one that there's a talent limit there on his team as well, right? Like, I just don't know that there's any upside in starting Tua versus the Rams when there is upside with Taylor in any game. Taylor could get
especially
7.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, Taylor could get 7 receptions for 50 yards and rush for 100 yards. Like, that's a very, very doable thing for him in that game. So Tua's, yes, his floor, maybe his floor is a little bit higher than Taylor's. I don't know that it's much different, but I think Taylor's got a much higher ceiling in his matchup than Tua does in his. And I'm really nervous for Tua in his first game, to be completely honest with you. Sterling Shepard against Tampa Bay's defense, or Jalen Reagor against Dallas. I need to go grab my Jalen Reagor jersey and put it on. That's what I need to do. Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, Big Matt's probably saying it again. You start anybody playing the Cowboys.
I'm doing it. Better quarterback.
Better quarterback,
better talent, better matchup, better everything. I'm going Jalen Reagor. I will say, Sterling Shepard's floor is probably more because he's guaranteed some targets, but
yeah,
I'm going Jalen Reagor. Burrow versus Titans, terrible passing defense, somebody says. I mean, that's true, but right now the best target for him has been Boyd, and the one spot where the Titans have been good is against the slot. I don't think Burrow's a bad start, but I'm not sitting Lamar yet. And people forget this guy averaged like 30 fantasy points at quarterback last year. And it has been,
it's a big division game too. I mean,
has been a little more rough this year, but I'm still going Lamar right now. I need a running back 2. No, okay. So Cartoons and Cereal says true with the win, but Burrow is number 1 in attempts and number 3 in drop back attempts. Moderate win, but they can skip on the targets there. I have Boyd, Green, Burrow in same DFS lineup. I mean, I don't disagree that since he's good, but I just think that Lamar, we're forgetting because of 6 games or whatever they've played. Have they played 7? They've played 6, right? They've had their bye, Baltimore.
Yeah,
they've played 6 games. I think people are overreacting.
Wait, they've had 7.
Have they played?
One. Oh no, they got 6. That's his average. No, they got 6 games played.
But I mean, Lamar Jackson had one of the best quarterback seasons we've ever seen just a year ago, and I'm not ready to sit him. Burrow has the volume. The volume's the only thing. But if they run the ball more today because of the wind, and I mean, well, let me pull it up. I can pull up the newest.
I mean, while you're doing that, people might be like seeing how good Burrow's doing, but Lamar is still averaging more fantasy points than him. So I don't see why people are really trying to put him over him.
The other thing, the volume for Burrow is masking how well he's actually playing. He's actually not playing as well as people think that he's playing, which is fine for a rookie, right? I'm not saying that he's bad and that he's not going to be good.
No. He's still playing great for a rookie.
Right, but I mean, he is like 26th in QBR. There's a lot of stuff being masked by the big numbers that he's putting up.
Right.
Think of it like Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards last year, but he couldn't get a starting job this year. So there's you got to watch that. What am I doing here? I'm looking for weather, right? NFL weather. Yeah, that one's a moderate, but there's gusts of. I mean, there's sustained winds of 20 miles per hour. That makes it harder to throw. If it was 10 to 15, I wouldn't be as worried. But there's gusts of over 30. Luckily, there won't be any rain in that one, so it's not one of the top games, but it's still got some a little bit of trouble with wind there. Yeah, so basically, I'm looking at Kevin Roth's weather report, and he's got he's from Roto Grinders. He's got a post on Twitter that shows, problem spots ranked most impactful to the least. Cleveland being the most impacted, then Buffalo, then Green Bay, especially in the first half. Second half, it could clear up a little bit, and then Cincinnati, and then Chicago, Giants, Baltimore, Philly, all basically not affected by weather. So since he's right there in the middle, you're right, but it's Lamar Jackson we're talking about here. That's my issue with it mostly. Need an RB2 and a flex full PPR. DeAndre Swift, Henderson, Juju, Cooper Kupp. Need a running back and a flex.
Swift then. Swift or Henderson, right, with options?
Yeah, Swift, Henderson, and then Juju, them with Cooper Kupp. Which I'm starting Cooper Kupp in the flex.
And Swift.
Oh, man. This is a tough one because I want to go Swift, but are the Lions ever going to just say, Adrian Peterson, you're 80, and we don't want you to run the ball anymore? We want to give it to the young guy
right.
and see what he's got. So I probably do lean Swift and Cooper Kupp, but I'm not as confident in Swift over Henderson as I want to be. But the same thing could happen. Henderson, at some point, Cam Akers is going to get work, right? At least some. And Malcolm Brown looked just as good as Henderson did last week. So who knows what's going to happen there, too. I'm going Swift and Kupp.
I agree.
Due to forecasts of sustained winds between 20 and 26 miles per hour, would you pivot from Aaron Rodgers and start Carson Wentz instead? I would. Because Carson Wentz plays against Dallas, and we start everybody against Dallas.
I was about to say it again. Yep, I said it twice already. I think I'm going to go Carson Wentz right now is a top 3 quarterback play for me this week.
Yeah, what did Kyle Allen do?
Yeah. What did everybody do?
literally, Math Quest right now, we might be able to go out and play quarterback against Dallas.
We could.
Strawberry Jake says WDIS. I'm not young enough for that one, maybe? WDIS, do you know what that is? Pick 2, flex. Rager versus Dallas. Latavius Murray. Madison. Hasty. Marcus Johnson. Full PPR. Okay, so first off, I'll say Chicago gets beat on the ground, but Lat Murray's behind Alvin Kamara, so I don't really want to go there. I'm starting Rager against Dallas because we start everybody against Dallas. I probably do go Hasty, especially if Cook's healthy, then Madison's not even a question. If Cook is out, Madison becomes the start.
Cook is expected to play,
and that's what I thought. So I'm going to Hasty and Rager myself.
100%. I was about to say the same thing. Hasty and Rager.
Braden Bathgate asked Juju or Landry this week. Juju.
Yeah, Juju. I like Landry this week, though. Wouldn't be surprised if the other one outscores the other one, but I think you still got to go with Juju.
Yeah, I'm going Juju. Cartoons and Cereal says, will do with Lamar, but do you think Boyd and Green will still have good games despite wind? I don't hate these guys. That's not what I'm saying at all. Boyd does have the hardest matchup out of the wide receivers for Cincy this week. Tennessee, where they've really got beat, is on the outside, so Higgins and Green have the best matchups. But I still think these three guys, there's enough volume to go around for them if they don't get forced to shut down the passing game because of the wind, which it doesn't look like in that game they're going to. Maybe instead of 50, he gets 40 attempts, right? So there's still going to be plenty to go around for those three. I'm not super concerned about those three. That is literally, that whole argument isn't against Burrow. It's literally just against not starting Lamar Jackson in season long. I love Burrow in DFS for sure. Brady or Lamar? It's Lamar.
Oh yeah.
Box of Cards Productions asked that question. Blue Crew, need to stream a bye-week quarterback picked up Carr. Still available on free agency are Goff, Garoppolo, Mayfield. Your thoughts on Carr? I liked Carr a lot before this wind came into effect, right? But he's in the game that is getting affected the most. I would go Garoppolo in this situation.
Yep.
Garoppolo versus Seattle.
Hopefully the Jimmy G that puts up 400 yards, even with not very good wide receivers, shows up. Garoppolo is a good play this week.
You start Hollywood Brown or Robert Woods. Irvin Sanchez asked that over on YouTube.
I'm gonna go with Robert Woods.
I'm going Robert Woods as well.
Back to that last question, I did the same exact thing this week. I kid you not, I picked up. I've got Kyler Murray as my starter. I picked up Carr. Saw the weather reports because it was the one that was getting put up the most, and then I dropped him and picked up Jimmy G. Not even kidding. Did that yesterday. So.
Yeah, I think Jimmy G was already a good play because Seattle, while Dallas is the worst overall defense in history so far, Seattle is giving up a shit ton of points to the passing game and receivers and stuff. So Garoppolo's in a good spot this week. C. Chav over on YouTube says Rashard Higgins or Juju, 0.5 PPR, Slayton or TY, PPR. I'm going Juju over Higgins.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm going Slayton over, I'm going Slayton over TY. I mean, TY just has disappointed.
Yeah, he's getting old. I mean, he's not in that exciting start anymore. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I like Slayton a lot, and Juju is an easy one.
Josh Whedon says Cleveland's projected wind went from 25 miles per hour to 23 overnight. Thanks for that drop there, Cleveland weather. We needed it to drop to like 13. Jason Abold with the donation asking, who do I start? Stephon Diggs, Kenny Galladay, or Justin Jefferson? For one, you have too many good receivers. For two, I'm starting Diggs. I'm not sitting Diggs. Buffalo's got the weather concerns, but his volume is too high. I think he's the most talented guy out of the three. And I'm going Diggs here. The fact that you have this many wide receivers is awesome, though. You have good problems to have.
Right. You don't sit your studs. Even though New England's known for locking up teams' best players, they didn't do a good job with it last week versus Kittle. And even to sweeten the pot for you, Stephon Gilmore's not playing. So I'm definitely going Diggs.
Brandon Sheridan says, start Tevin Coleman? ? If you don't have to, I don't do it.
There's a lot better options, that's for sure.
Yeah,
lot.
If you're forced to start Coleman, that's fine. I want to hear a little bit more. I'm gonna check here as we get more information. because he was designated to come off, but I don't know that he is. What are you doing? Little surprise here. Come give me a hug,
Our guest.
kiddo. Say hi.
You leaving?
Wave to the camera. Wave to the camera. Are you nervous?
He never does.
I appreciate it, buddy. Let's see. What I got thrown off there. Okay, Brandon, you don't have to yell at us, but I'll see your question, I promise. All
We put all caps.
Yeah, all caps. Yeah, so Tevin Coleman, I don't even know if he's going to be the guy. I think Hasty's the guy there, even if Coleman's healthy. But we'll need to hear a little bit more up the game time on Coleman's status.
And who you starting him over, or asking at least? Put that in there.
And then Brandon yells at us again and says, Lamar or Herbert? It's Lamar. I know Herbert's played great. Lamar is not a sit, guys. Not yet.
Not yet.
Mr. MC Elmo's drunk says, pick one at the flex. Justin Jackson, Hunter Henry, Phillip Lindsay. At the flex. This one's a good one. This one's a tough one. This is an actual problem.
Yeah, I almost like Hunter Henry.
I'm probably starting Hunter Henry here.
I think so too. Yeah.
Hunter Henry. Yeah. So obviously Paul doesn't say very many funny things, but he also replied to Jason's donation and said Diggs, Galladay, or Jefferson, and Paul said Diggs. And then Jason put a thumbs up, and then Paul said, must be your girlfriend's team.
It probably is.
Craig says, thanks for joining the news at 10 with Rick and Bryce.
Yeah. With
Paul on sports and Jaz on weather. Jaz has been clutch with the weather reports. I love it. Ty Wilson says JaMychal Hasty or Lev Bell.
This is a good one. I just don't buy into. I know that this game might get out of hand fast and everything, but I think I'm going to go with Hasty.
I'm going Hasty as well.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson or T. Higgins. And then Brandon yells at us again for the next one.
Man. I'm gonna go with Justin Jefferson for this one. I know Green Bay's good against the pass, but I think that more affects Thielen than anybody. I don't.
I just know who's going to get volume in Cincy.
This could be a floor ceiling answer.
Jefferson definitely has the higher ceiling right now because the target tree is more condensed. Yeah.
And I don't like any of the spreads this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jefferson as well. I hate it. Brandon donates and says sorry for yelling. Here's some hush money. I have James White I could start over Coleman. Not much more on the waiver wire. I love James White this week, guys. Weather's not gonna help Cam Newton pass, and Cam Newton's already had trouble passing. James White had a 33% target share in their last game. And Edelman's out. Harry's out. Both of them are out, right? Patriots fan?
Yeah,
they're both out. James White almost gets funneled those Edelman targets, right? And he was averaging like 6 per game. I just think James White is in a smash spot. He could have 10 receptions in this game. I like James White a lot this week. One of my favorite DFS plays at 4,500 on DraftKings. I just can't believe more people aren't on James White in this game environment.
Yeah, when he's on the field, he's usually pretty consistent. He's always involved. He's always been a solid flex play forever, it seems like. So I'm definitely going James White here over Tevin Coleman. No brainer.
And Brandon, I was just saying, you don't have to keep apologizing for yelling at us. I know that when people go onto a lot of streams, questions get missed. We literally go right down the line, and we do see all of them. It just takes us a minute to get to them because we've got a bunch of questions in here. I will say that we appreciate every donation. You guys are awesome, and we enjoy spending our Sunday mornings here on stream with you guys. With Gilmore out for New England, do you see Stephon Diggs having more fantasy points this week? Yeah, I mean that having Gilmore out never hurts you as a receiver that was probably going to get covered by him. But then we've got the wind issues. This is the game that's second on the list of probably highest amount of weather because we've got the wind, rain, and everything in that game. So there is risk there, but I'm not sitting Stephon Diggs. Tua or Carr?
Right. Carr.
I'm going Carr, but I'm like the more I read on this Cleveland weather, the scarier it gets. I mean, we're talking sustained winds between 25 and 30 miles per hour with gusts likely around 45. He follows that up with deep passes are a no-go. Intermediate passes could be a problem. That's rough for any game environment. But yes, I'm going Carr right now. Again, I do not like the way I do not like the way they're going about this Tua situation, starting him against the Rams. I mean, just look at the Rams' last 3 games. They are hard to throw on, and you're throwing a guy in there for his first start. It scares me. Joss Whedon says, drop Snell or Duke. I'm dropping Snell. Well,
Snell.
I mean, yeah, I'm dropping Snell, but it's rough. Like, you don't have a better drop than that? You have a pretty good roster if you don't have a better drop than that. They're both one injury away from being the guy, right? And I like those running backs on my roster. Duke just gets involved in the passing game with Houston's defense being as bad as it is, so I like that. Paul says, Akeem Hicks or Sheldon Richardson. I just want to watch Bryce have a mini stroke trying to figure out defense. So just ignore that. And then we've had this question already. This is a popular question so far. John Hurley says DJ Dallas or JaMychal Hasty. We both went with JaMychal Hasty the first time we answered that one. And obviously it matters if Carson plays or Hyde plays. I think it's just easily Hasty. But it's Hasty either way for me. Damian Harris might be out. I think they're planning on him playing, right? At least that's what they were saying yesterday. But if Damian Harris is out, Rex Burkhead and James White are both in smash spots.
Yeah, he's expected to play.
Start one. This is from Jonathan Whitaker over on YouTube. Jimmy Graham, Dallas Goedert, Gronk, Noah Fant, or TJ Hawkinson. Holy shit, you got a ton of tight ends. And it's Dallas Goedert for me.
Yep.
I will say it goes Goddard, then Jimmy Graham for me. People don't realize, but Saints are the worst team versus tight ends. The problem is Dallas Goedert is the wide receiver 1 probably for Eagles, even though he plays tight end, and they're playing against Dallas. Wayne Gallman or JaMychal Hasty? This is easily JaMychal Hasty.
Yeah, I did like Gallman last week. I will say I picked him up in a few leagues and put him on my bench. He looks a lot better than any of the other running backs there, but I'll go with the team that has way more touchdown upside and a better
I
offensive
mean, are
line.
you serious? Did another running back looked better than Devonta Freeman? Who would have ever?
I know. I don't know why they. We were talking about on the Wednesday stream that he looked pretty good when Saquon got hurt last year. It's like, why did they go and seek out another running back? Because he was very serviceable.
And Devonta Freeman's just not very good.
No. Had one good year.
Demir Bird. What's his first name? I'm having a mini stroke. D. Robinson from Kansas City, or Zach Pascal.
You answer this because it's my question.
Oh. Okay, so obviously we've got the weather. I'm not starting Bird. I might go Pascal here. I think he is pseudo number one receiver. I know T.Y. Hilton's the name recognition. But Robinson will probably get 5-6 targets for Kansas City, but I'm probably going Zach Pascal here.
A touchdown to be a valuable one.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning to, and Pascal's kind of one of those guys that nobody ever talks about, but he gets quite a bit of targets, and he might not have the best hands, but he seems to produce pretty well for like maybe a last flex option in some 10 starting spot leagues. So I was just confirming.
Oh, another donation from George Velasquez. He says, "Hey guys, start Scott Miller, Stephon Diggs, Deontay Johnson, Slayton, or Ruggs. Pick 3, please. Love you guys. Thanks, man. We love you too. Lots of love going out to George Velasquez over on YouTube with the donation. We appreciate it. Is Scott Miller playing? I don't think it matters because they play Monday night, right? Or they play Sunday night? One of the two. They play late.
No, Monday night.
Monday night. So
Monday night.
I'm not waiting to know if Scott Miller's playing for him. He doesn't have enough talent to risk that, right? And out of these guys, you don't have another option if he is out. I'm starting Stephon Diggs no matter what because we've already had that discussion. The weather sucks, but it's Stephon Diggs, and he's probably a top 5 talent at wide receiver in the league. Then it comes down Deontay Johnson, Darius Slayton, or Henry Ruggs. And I'm going Johnson and Slayton. Ruggs, I love, but he's in that game with the worst environment. He's, a deep play threat, which looks like it may not be possible in this game. It literally, the thing report I'm looking at now says sustained winds from 25 to 30 miles per hour with gusts likely around 45 miles per hour. Deep passes are a no-go. Intermediate passes could be a problem. So while I love Ruggs, and I would probably play Ruggs over Slayton here, if this game environment was normal, I've got to go with Diggs, Johnson, and Slayton here.
So let me ask you, if Miller was healthy, would you go Miller over Slayton?
Miller, I would consider over Slayton if there wasn't the risk.
They play each other. They play each other.
Oh, so I guess you could. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I had to think about it. Like, who do they play? And I was like, Slayton's that third option. But that's when it could get a little interesting.
Because I haven't really looked at. I don't have a lot of that Monday night game.
Yeah,
either, so.
I forgot about it till today.
Man, that Tampa Bay defense is good. I would.
Yeah, I think we're gonna agree. I think the first two are easy, and then if Scotty Miller plays, I'm gonna put him in over Slayton.
Yeah,
personally,
I would probably play Miller over Slayton, but I'm not sitting Stephon Diggs for any reason. Like, yes, it could go bad, and he could get you 0 points. I think that's highly doubtful. I'm not sitting Diggs in this scenario. But I would probably go Deontay Johnson and then Scott Miller because Slayton could get shut down against that Tampa Bay defense, and we know how bad Mr. Daniel Jones is when pressured, and we know one thing that Tampa Bay can do is put on the pressure. I mean, just look at how bad Rodgers was against this defense. How bad can Daniel Jones be? We might see that this week. So, yes, I like Scott Miller over Slayton if Scott Miller plays, but I think it sounded like he was going to sit, right? Maybe it's been upgraded since I've seen it. Burrow or Lamar? Shades 721 asks. I'm Lamar.
Lamar, yep.
Lamar. Standard scoring, I need 2. Jonathan Taylor, Zeke, Jamal Williams, or Ronald Jones, Zeke. And then probably Jamal Williams for me. That Taylor-Jamal Williams is real close. Jamal Williams, with the weather the way it is, may get 20 rushing attempts plus 5-6 receptions. So I'm going with him, even though I like the Jonathan Taylor talent more. Until Colts show that they'll give him 20 carries, I've got to go with Jamal Williams here. Young Corpse says, pick one. Chase Claypool, CEH, Robert Woods, Terry Fulgham, half PPR.
So, what? Travis Fulgham or Terry McLaurin? Which one was it?
Travis Fulgham. Terry McLaurin's on bye
okay.
this week.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Sorry. So Fulgham,
CEH,
what was
Robert
the other two
Woods,
again, sir?
Claypool.
And pick one?
Pick one.
Oh, man.
Right? That's
Ooh, what a great problem to have. I almost want to go with Fulgham this matchup.
I'm going CEH. I can't not play the running back that's favored by 17 points.
It's 20 now. It's a 20-point favorite.
It's 20 now?
20 and a half is what I just saw.
Bump it up. I'm going
I
CEH.
don't like any of the spreads. Yeah.
Wow. Nathan Coe says, hey, I love the channel, dudes. Should I start Carson or James Conner? Tannehill or Josh Allen? Carson, if he plays. Unless we hear that he's limited. And then Tannehill for me.
Tannehill for sure. If Carson plays, I mean, he's a 50-50 right now. I feel like if he was fully healthy, he would be just a no-brainer, expected to play kind of thing. So that makes me want to lean with James Conner. Even if Carson does play, if he was, for some reason they said he's fully healthy, his foot's not bothering him, then I would start him. That's something I'd kind of monitor. So I'm going to go with Carson for now. Connor for now, just because they're not saying
Let me look up
that his foot's not bothering him. I just looked at it. It says a true 50-50 is what I read. Oh, that was 12 hours ago. But.
You know what? Let me take that back. They both have bad matchups, right? San Francisco and Baltimore are both good against the run. You're right. We should probably feel more comfortable with James Conner being healthy than Chris Carson in his situation.
Yeah.
James Conner, I say it every week. James Conner, for one, is undervalued.
Yeah.
But
he's your 20 for 100 every week.
Yeah.
20 for 100 every week.
Yeah, I agree. You convinced me. I overthunk it a little bit. Connor and Tannehill for me. Nathan. Tannehill's rather easy for me this week.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Josh Allen. I don't think Josh Allen is bad, but I just think,
he never does good against New England. He has not had one good game against New England yet, so we'll see if this is his first one.
That's also one of the games affected by this weather, too. It's going to be a nasty game. That game looks like it's going to be nasty because it's got the wind and it's got the rain.
Yeah. That's good for the Patriots. That definitely benefits us.
Brandon Sherigan says, pick two, Rashad Higgins Chase Claypool, Nelson Aguilar, and Beasley. I actually like Beasley in this situation.
He's my favorite out of all those
He is
four.
my favorite out of those four too. Aguilar would have been my number two probably.
Yep.
But I'm gonna go Chase Claypool because of the weather in that Cleveland game. Higgins would have been my clear number four out of these guys. So Beasley and Claypool for me. Paul says KC is minus 3,000 money line. It's ridiculous. It's like a college game, right? It's like when Alabama plays some podunk school in the spread.
Usually they put a limit. Sometimes they'll put a limit on that too, but I can't even bet that game. Like I almost would rather have the Jets plus 20.5. I mean
that's crazy.
All the spreads this week are bad, and I don't think it.
Carlos Lopez says Cooper Kupp or Le'Veon Bell. This is easily Cooper Kupp for me.
Yep.
Nanad Rapaja. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, if I butchered it, I apologize. J.K. Dobbins or Latavius Murray, please help. This one for me, I want to know, have we heard, is Ingram out yet? Is that a 1 o'clock game? Or
I believe Ingram is out. I thought I heard that yesterday. You see here.
Status. Let's take a look here. View all.
Yep. Ian Rappaport put it 1 hour ago that Mark Ingram is not playing.
With knowing that, I'm going Dobbins. Because Dobbins could end up just, he's so dynamic, and they should be giving him more touches to begin with. With Ingram out, and one of the three out of the way, right? Because we talked about this preseason. I said, there's 3 running backs in this backfield. People thought Gus Edwards was just getting pushed out, but he had played too well in his role to get completely pushed out. Having one of those guys not active totally helps these other two. And I'll take some shots on Dobbins in this situation for sure. Pittsburgh is tough against the run, but he can catch the ball out of the backfield, and that's a bonus there.
Yeah, even though Chicago's weakness is their run defense, they still don't allow touchdowns. That team is a bend don't break defense. And this might be Dobbins' opportunity to start earning that starting role. So hopefully he seizes it. The run offense is amazing for the Ravens. So I'm going Dobbins.
2 questions. Which running back should I start in the San Francisco-Seattle game for PPR? And also, is Tua worth grabbing since Josh Allen will have bad weather? I'll play Josh Allen in the bad weather because he can still rush. He has that rushing floor.
Right.
Not that Tua doesn't, but we haven't seen any of that yet. And Tua's got a terrible matchup. So I'll start Josh Allen over Tua even in the bad weather game. When it comes to the running backs in the San Francisco-Seattle game, it all depends on who's healthy and who's not. We still don't have all of those answers yet. I like Hasty and Carson the most if Carson's healthy. But right now, Hasty looks like the only guy that I feel decent starting out of the bunch. And I still don't love it necessarily.
I agree. The Seattle 49ers game, Hasty's the only clear-cut guy that I think is going to be decent. You got your starting and backup on the Seahawks side of the ball that are both game-time decisions. So if you are forced to start somebody for Seattle on offense, you have to watch the pregame all the way up till it starts. I agree.
All right, we've got about 10 minutes, and then we're going to have to cut a little short this week. This wind and everything's wrecking my stuff. So I've got a little extra work before lock this week. So 10 minutes, get those questions in. We do go in order unless there's a donation, and then we bump those to the top. Patriots defense or Detroit's defense? Patriots, especially in a messy game environment, right? There's
we don't have not the best pass rush, but we that seems like they always get turnovers somehow. So
Okay, let's be quick on all of these. Aiden Tobin says, should I trade Rojo and Fournette for Josh Jacobs? I'm 5-2 and got Henry, Robinson, and Montgomery.
if the guy agrees to that, yeah.
I would trade Rojo and Fournette for Josh Jacobs at this point in season long, yes. So you guys don't think the revenge game for Le'Veon Bell will happen? I mean, he could. It could be fine, but I'm just not starting him over Cooper Kupp. Dang, biggest donation yet. George Velasquez comes in with a $10 donation saying, hey, again, I got DeAndre Swift, Jerick McKinnon, and on the waiver wire, James White, Dobbins, Justin Jackson, Latavius Murray, Phillip Lindsay, and Damian Harris. I need two. Should I pick one of those guys up off the waiver? If I could, I would get James White this week.
I like White or Harris this week just because like you said, based on weather. Harris could have that. They haven't got the opportunity to really establish a run game because they get behind so fast. But that one game that they were able to run the ball. He did really well. But I'm going James White for sure.
If this is PPR, it's definitely White for me. I'd probably go DeAndre Swift and White if I could start the two. And George, you're a hero. Thank you very much. We appreciate it big time.
Yes, sir.
And Detroit gets no pressure. Going back to that question, Aiden, Detroit gets no pressure, and their chance for turnovers is slim. Like I don't want to start Detroit's defense if I don't have to. In a PPR league, do you think that I should start Jamal Williams or CEH? I'm starting Jamal Williams because of the volume that we know he's going to get. CEH lost half of the rushing attempts to Le'Veon Bell last week, and if it stays a 50-50, that hurts. Jamal Williams will probably get 20 carries in this game, especially with the wind the way it is. Plus, there's more likely dump-offs to him. So Jamal Williams is the start in that game, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're comparing a guy that's going to see 20 plus touches in Jamal Williams to a guy that might see 12 to 15 in CEH.
Joz says, any chance a team makes a move for Ryan Fitzpatrick or Tyrod? Tight super flex roster, dropping Tyrod, but might have to cut Fitz soon too. I think Fitz could be moved. I don't know that Tyrod will be moved. Because I don't know that any teams covet him enough. He hasn't shown enough recently. Fitz has a Miami offense that nobody expected to score a lot of points, scoring 26 points per game. We talked about this in team chat. I wish my Chicago Bears would go out and grab Ryan Fitzpatrick. I would love it. It would make me ecstatic because he would be such a huge upgrade, and he shouldn't cost much. But there are rumors that Dolphins don't really want to move him, but you'd think if he wanted to get out and had a chance to play, they would consider doing that since they already kind of shit on him by him finding out the way he found out that he was being benched and the way that whole scenario went down. So I would love for the Bears to get him. I think you could look like a team like Dallas would be dumb not to take a look at him even if Dalton's coming back. So there are teams that I think should take a look at Fitz. I think Fitz has his faults, right? That's why he's never stayed in one spot, and he's played for a lot of people.
Right.
But Fitz has also been in a lot of bad situations with bad defenses where it was a heave-ho type of pass offense. So he is kind of a gunslinger, but I think on a team like Chicago where he doesn't have to throw the ball 30-plus times, all he's got to do is just orchestrate that offense. I think he would be in a great spot. So I would love that. Should I trade Rojo and Fournette for Josh? Oh, we've already answered that. Holy crap. Now everybody... Oh, never mind. Michael Whitland said, PPR, start one. Henderson, Ayuk, AJ Green, Leonard Fournette. I'm going with AJ Green.
AJ Green.
Oh, that freaking game, though, dude. Maybe Ayuk. I keep... That wind, man. Yeah, I'm going AJ Green. Screw it.
Yep.
And that's what you got to say sometimes with your lineups, right? Screw it.
Leonard Fournette will be the answer soon. So
Yes,
start
he
AJ
will
Green
be the
now,
answer
though.
soon. Yeah, I don't disagree necessarily with Paul's drop McKinnon, grab J.K. Dobbins, but for this week, James White is just a much better play. J.K. Dobbins is the play long term, though.
Yeah, it's got to be a.
Full
Those guys are on the waivers.
redraft. I'm getting James White there. He as a running back, he had 33% of the target market share last week. Edelman's out, Harry's out. Like, they don't have receivers right now. James White is their wide receiver one, probably.
It's going to be Demir Bird, Jacoby Myers, and then that
Ozaleski.
Kruger, whatever. No, I bet it'll be that Gruber. Gruber? I don't know. Number 17 always gets this sweep.
Basically, it's not good. James White is the wide receiver one.
Yep.
Rager, Ruggs, or Lindsey at flex, non-PPR. Rager's in there for me.
Rager.
No problem, George. We appreciate it. Brady, Marzella, Tom Brady, or Ryan Tannehill? Ryan Tannehill for me.
Tannehill.
Paul said, yeah, I forgot Jones was out. Aaron Jones was out because he answered Jamal Williams. Yeah, it's Williams. I like CEH, and I love that game environment, but just Bell, I mean, he came in and it was eight carries to 6. CEH was favored a little bit. They didn't even run the ball that much, and they had to lead the whole game. Okay, I have too many wide receivers. Need to make a package. I got Boyd, T. Higgins, AJ Green, AJ Brown, or John Brown, or Antonio Brown. I don't know which Brown.
Probably AJ.
We got a bunch of colors here, though. We got green tea, we got brown tea, we got Claypool, Hopkins, McLaurin, and AB. Oh, he does have AB, so that Brown's probably Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would, whatever Brown that is, I would package them in the deal, so we have less of this. I think you can get the most out of Boyd right now, and I think Boyd, T, and Green are pretty even, right? They're basically gonna get those targets. Claypool might have the most inflated value, so I like trading him as well in season long. I mean, if you did like a Brown, Claypool, and one of those Cincy receivers, I think you could get a pretty decent receiver. And then Hopkins and McLaurin, AB, and whoever that receiver is going to be a pretty big monster group of receivers with some depth. Evan Ingram or Jared Cook? It was A.J. Brown. It was A.J. Brown that he had.
I'd keep him then. I love A.J. Brown. I'm going Jared Cook, by the way.
Jared Cook. Evan Ingram just gets so much volume, man, but I'm going Jared Cook as well. Is Carson playing this week? We don't know yet.
Game time decision, 50-50.
We'll know in about a half hour. We are going to have to cut it short. Jason, that was posted like 4 days ago. Josh says, I spent fab on Coleman, but scooped Hasty before the hype. Could cut Coleman instead of Snell or Duke, but not sure if I should bet on Shanahanigans. I mean, I would keep Coleman over those guys for now because we know their running backs can't stay healthy. If Hasty goes down, then Coleman gets probably all the work with McKinnon getting the passing work and some of it. It's just, yes. Okay. That is going to be it for this Sunday morning. I know normally we're here till noon, and I apologize. I'm way behind in this weather and all the health concerns. I got to get my lineups taken care of this morning. If you want, okay, if you want to keep asking questions, get in our Discord. If you're not in our Discord yet, I don't know what you're doing. but you're doing it wrong. I'm dropping the link right now. It's free, and if you tag us, we will do our best to answer your questions. So there's that. The Discord's there. I'll leave it up for here a minute, and let you guys have a chance to hit that and get into the Discord over there. And we got, I mean, it's not just us over there, right? We've got like 15 guys on the team, and there's plenty of people that can help you out. And you can get multiple opinions. That's never a bad idea when it comes to this stuff. So I'll leave that up for a second, real quick. These are the last two questions. We're going to answer Don Schaefer's and Brady Marzella's questions. Don says, I traded Stephon Diggs for Taylor. Was that a smart move? To answer this, we would need to know more, right? Like, if you have a lot of wide receiver depth, then it might be an okay move. I like Diggs a lot, and Diggs is one of my favorite receivers in the NFL. So I probably would have kept Diggs, but if the Colts start giving Taylor the 20 touches that he deserves, it could be a win for you. Bryce.
Man, so he got Diggs out of this. This all depends, like you said, you need more information. It depends on team composition. If you were weak at wide receiver and that's what you got, I think that's a good move. This is redraft. I love it. In Dynasty, I think it's pretty even. So,
Don says I have Henry, Jones, Bernard, AB, Godwin, Thielen, and Fuller. With getting AB in there, Godwin, I don't know how long Godwin's going to be out, but I think it's a fine trade. We have Brady says pick one PPR: Travis Fulgham, Cooper Kupp, or Brandon Ayuk. I'm going Cooper Kupp.
Absolutely.
Jamison Crowder is inactive, so there's a lot of value there with Braxton Berrios and Denzel Mims in New York for the Jets.
Correct.
But even a smaller chance of a touchdown being scored on the Jets side of the ball.
Perriman's also out too.
How's
He
it
got
sound,
clobbered
guys?
last week.
Needs wins. I'm trying to get Kelsey, Ridley for A.J. Brown and A.J. Green and Claypool. I would do it. I would take Kelsey and Ridley if you can get them for A.J. Brown, A.J. Green, and Claypool.
Yeah, the problem would be to get the other guy to agree to that.
Yeah, I would add, with the depth you had, if I could get those two, I would add in another player too. I would add it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you threw T. Higgins in there in a redraft league, like, I don't care overpaying like that in a redraft league to get my starting lineup stacked. So, I like it. We love you guys. We appreciate all the donations today. It means a lot. You guys don't know. We're not trying to get rich over here, but it helps us add more and more features and, help grow this community and the ability to keep giving you guys the best advice we possibly can. So we appreciate every one of them. We appreciate all of you. And Bryce and I will be back next Sunday at 10 a.m. Hopefully we don't have all the crazy concerns we've got this week and we can stay all the way till noon. But this extra 25 minutes is going to help me a ton. Then Tuesday night, this Tuesday, 9:30 p.m., we have the Dynasty Heat Seekers, where I, myself, Jason, and Anthony Leone go over some Dynasty stuff with you guys. And then Wednesday night, we've got Bryce with host Brad and Sully from Sully's 2 Cents. Talking redraft and different stuff that you should be looking at there. So 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 a.m. next Sunday for all you crazy cats and kittens or whatever Miss Carol Baskin says.
Yeah.
We are out of here. Love all you guys.